Former special counsel Robert Mueller announced that he will testify before two House committees on July 17th. According to a letter released last night, Mueller agreed to the public testimony in response to the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committee's subpoenas. Now, his highly anticipated testimony will take place almost exactly 4 months to the day after the public release of his report on Russian meddling in the 2016 election. The president responded on Twitter last night. Very simple, presidential harassment. Our Tom Hansen is following this from New York City. Tom, what is the latest?
Hey there, Anne-Marie. Well, the president is expected to call into Fox Business this morning. Presumably, he'll say more about the matter. Now, meanwhile, the strategizing begins for Democrats to get some answers out of a reluctant Bob Mueller.
He has agreed to comply with it, and we look forward to his testimony.
Late into the night Tuesday, House Democrats announced what many on the left have been waiting for. Former special counsel Robert Mueller will testify before the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees in an open session on Wednesday, July 17th. Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler on CNN explained why he feels we need to hear from Mueller.
There's been a campaign of misrepresentation by Attorney General Barr, who misrepresented what was in the report, by the president, who keeps saying the report found no collusion, no obstruction. That's not true either way. So it's important the American people hear from him what the report found.
It's the first time Mueller will answer questions publicly about his 22-month investigation into Russian contacts with President Trump's campaign. The committees have been in negotiations with Mueller for weeks about his testimony. His only public statement about the 448-page report was last month, when he said the report should speak for itself.
Any testimony from this office would not go beyond our report.
The announcement didn't go over well with President Trump, who tweeted presidential harassment. And the House Intelligence Committee is also planning to question Mueller's staff in a closed session to discuss the counterintelligence portions of the investigation. Anne-Marie?
All right, Tom, thank you very much. So for more on this, we want to bring in Keir Dougall. He's a CBSN legal contributor and former assistant U.S. attorney for New York's Eastern District. All right, Keir, let us dig a little deeper into this. We heard Robert Mueller say when he had that press conference that he does not really want to testify. He didn't say he wouldn't, but he says he didn't want to. And as we understand it, there was a lot of sort of negotiating behind the scenes until eventually subpoenas were issued. He's going to comply with those subpoenas, but he says he's not going to go beyond what was written in the 400-page report. But I'm sure lawmakers are interested in things that are beyond that.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure the biggest question is, would he have charged President Trump with obstruction had that DOJ policy preventing such charges not been in place? I would not expect him to answer that question when he is testifying before Congress. I believe, will try to stick to his program, which he's declared that he wants to let the report speak for itself, and he'll stick to the four corners of that very large report. But he did not make a prosecutive decision in that report.
How do you think he's going to get around answering that? He's got to give a reason why he's not going to answer that.
Right. I mean, I think it'll give him an opportunity to explain the policy, that the policy allowed for an investigation to preserve evidence, but prevented him from charging or recommending charges of the sitting president.
Right. Okay, so we've got the House Intel Committee and the Judiciary Committees. What do you think those two committees are going to be most interested in?
I think that the Republicans, I would expect that they're going to talk about the alleged conflicts that they've been talking about,
right,
with
the
respect
12 angry Democrats or
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
They're also, I expect them to ask questions about the origins of the investigation. I would be surprised if Mr. Mueller didn't push back pretty hard on the integrity of the investigation, that it was well predicated, but I would expect that there will be questions about that. On the Democratic side, I would expect that the mantra that we've heard from the administration, no collusion, no obstruction. Mueller, I would expect him to say he didn't investigate collusion. He investigated conspiracy, which is a much narrower legal framework that he investigated in. And on the obstruction, although he didn't make a prosecutive decision, he found significant evidence in a number of episodes involving Mr. Trump of obstructive conduct.
Now, I know that Mueller was not interested in testifying, but in that press conference, he really sort of underlined the motivation for this investigation, which was Russian meddling in the 2016 election. I expect that's the message that he's going to really try to get across.
I think that's right. He spoke for 10 minutes, effectively, in a 2-year investigation. He very selectively chose what he wanted to say in that press conference. And he began and he ended on the point that the Russians systematically interfered or attempted to interfere with our elections, and that it was very concerning that all Americans, Republicans and Democrats, and everybody should be concerned about this. One of the things that I hope that both Republicans and Democrats do during these hearings is ask him what he thinks ought to happen. What should Congress do? What laws should be passed? How can we take steps to protect ourselves in the future from another country, whether it's Russia, China, North Korea, anybody, from trying to interfere and mess with us.
Very quickly, the president tweeted out presidential harassment. Does he have anything to be concerned about with Robert Mueller testifying? Well,
The obstruction evidence is concerning because he can't be charged while he's the sitting president, but after he leaves the office, provided that the statute of limitations has not run, he could theoretically be charged. He is named as individual number 1 in the Southern District case brought against Mr. Cohen. So whether or not the Southern District continues to investigate that conduct relating to him is an open question, probably likely. And there are a dozen or so other investigations that are redacted in the report that we don't know about. We don't have those details, but that are ongoing.
Well, Keir, I know it's going to be must-watch TV. A lot of people are going to be glued to it. A whole day of testimony. Thank you so much.
Thank you.